Good, beautiful morning, everybody. Silas back today. It is absolutely beautiful out here this morning. I am thankful for some cool weather finally. What's on the agenda for today is I've got a mini cleanup to go do. That's what we're going to do first. I'm going to hop in the loader, drive over there. I'll show you all of that. Then once I get done with that, I'm not sure what we're going to do. There's so many things I have to do that I'm not sure what order they're all going to get done. But you're going to ride along with me and we're going to get it done together. And we made it. Drove the loader over here. I figured it'd be easier just to drive it down here rather than have to drag these all out with the rollback or whatever. Skyler was gonna come help me and I was just gonna load them all on his trailer and ride with him back over to the yard and unload them, but he has to take his dog to the vet, so I don't know how long that's gonna take. I may wind up having to set them all out here in the field and come back with the rollback, but we'll see. But another reason I wanted to bring the loader is like this in here, this landscaping timber. It'd be a whole lot easier just to lift that up, pull that out, and then set the bed back down than it would be to try to haul this just like it is. This is a GMC. They used to haul salt with it, so it's pretty rusty. Probably just going to cut this one up for art. It's missing the center part of the grill, but that's okay. I think it would have just said, oh, what would the 10.5 be? Like, I know the smaller ones are like 250 or 350. I don't know what the big trucks would have been, but it would have just been a number in there, so I can probably find maybe a tag or something to put in there and make it look okay. It still has the piece in the hood, and that's the main thing. It's got a newer small block in it, like a 350 or a 305, something like that. Can't really get in it too good. All these trees. Oh, the door doesn't even want to work, but it is a GMC, so it's got the GMC gauges, all that sort of stuff. So some good parts, and actually above the windshield, it's got a little bit of rust, but it's not terrible. Once we get it out of here, get it back to the yard, I'll show it to you guys a little bit better. But that's what's first up on the list, is I'll get that one out. Then all these back here, once again, I just figured it'd be a whole lot easier just to bring the rollback in, the loader in here rather than the rollback. I could get them with the rollback, but man, it's gonna be way easier. This old Cadillac trunk, I sold them a long time ago. Or actually, if I remember right, they were going to take it and sell it and split it with me when it sold, and it obviously it never sold. But now there's no bumper for it, so I don't know if there's any value to this or not. What the deal on this stuff is this lady that I bought all this from, her and her husband used to buy a ton of cut off noses and antique stuff, things from like that from me, and they would take it down to Texas and sell it. And a few years back, her husband got cancer, and they quit buying as much from me. I'd see them, every now and then they'd come get one or two little things. But then he actually passed away earlier this year, and so now she's just trying to get stuff cleaned up. I'm not going to press the issue on that trunk. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. It's not worth creating a scene over. If she decides to get rid of it later, I'll come back and grab it. It wouldn't be a big deal. But for now, we're just getting the vehicles. Got this one here. I don't know what the deal on it was. I think she said this one was her dad's from years ago. I think it's just a 350. Yeah, just a 350. So probably just going to crush this one. I don't see anything worth saving on it. It is a 3/4 ton. I'll have to make sure. Is this bolted on? Oh no, I'll have to make sure I strap that down, because that's not bolted on. Yeah, I don't see anything worth saving on this truck. And then next up is this old 1-ton Ford. They actually drove a truck pretty much just like this, only different color, but their rear end went out, so they bought this truck so they could get a rear end. And then a few other parts. Yeah, they just stuck this trailer house axle underneath it so they could wheel it around. We'll get that out of here. I thought about saving it for the bed, but man, I can't ever sell these 1-ton beds with these dually fenders and all that. This one's a little bit tore up anyway. Everybody says they're worth money, and maybe they are somewhere else, but around here they just aren't worth anything. I try to get $300 out of a bed like this, and it just never sells. And anything less than that, and it's not worth my time. I wish they had a full set of these on it. Those are pretty cool, but there's just 2 of them. So we'll probably just go ahead, crush this one as well. This in here won't fit in the crusher. It's too long, but we can smash the roof in and pack it in a dumpster or something like that. And then last but not least for this cleanup is this old U-Haul truck. Once again, I believe this is one of her dad's vehicles. He used to haul antiques down to Texas in it, and I think they used it years ago. Hasn't been used in a number of years. It's just a piece of junk, worn out. It's seen a million miles. I don't know if it's seen that many miles, but it's seen a lot of miles. How many are on it? 200 and Oh no, this is the old odometer, so it says 21,000. So it's hard telling how many times that thing has rolled over. I guarantee you that odometer has rolled over multiple times. There we go. But yeah, this box is pretty rough. I don't know if it's weather tight or not. We'll have to see. She was gonna check and make sure it was cleaned out, but it looks like this padlock is rusted solid, so she must not have checked. So when I get it back to the yard, we'll cut that off, see if there's anything inside it. If it's got stuff inside it, I'll let her know. She can come clean it out if she wants it. Then we'll check it and see if it's been leaking any. We've been getting quite a bit of rain lately, so we'll be able to tell pretty easy. If it hasn't been leaking, I'll probably save the box off of it. And if it has been leaking, then we'll probably just go ahead and scrap the whole thing. But that's what's up. There's only 4 vehicles of this cleanup. Like I say, it's a smaller cleanup. She's got a few more boxes over here, another big box truck and a couple just boxes off of trucks, but they're full of stuff for sure. So she wants to wait on those till she gets them cleaned out. That's what I was going to look at. Is she's got these chairs over here, and they're pretty cool. I can't tell what they are. They almost look like aircraft chairs or something like that. They've got big heavy duty straps on them. I think they're mostly aluminum, so they're real lightweight. They got some sort of actuator on the back of them back here. I don't know what that is, but there's, what is there, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them on here. I can't quite tell what they are. I guess here's part of another one, so there's 5 of them. Yeah, I have no clue what these things are. If you know, let me know in the comments. They're kind of neat, but I don't know what a guy would do with them. They'd make neat industrial looking stools or something like that if you could mount some sort of legs on them. There we go, got it out of the trees fine now. This was a V8 truck originally. Obviously, like I say, it's not the original V8, but I bet those emblems are worth a little bit of money right there, because 99.9% of these things were V6 trucks. Had that little 305 in them. A lot of people call them a big block V6 because it has kind of the W valve covers like the early Chevy big blocks did, but they're not a big block. Yeah, it's got the deluxe heater controls. Really, this whole dash is in pretty good shape, and it does have a little bit more rust above the windshield than I thought it did, but really it's not terrible. And really, shockingly, for being a salt hauler, this truck isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's beyond fixing. I mean, it's definitely a rot box. Oh, check it out, guys, right there, 370. That's what this truck was. Well, there's the missing piece. Awesome, 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 awesome. That's exactly what we needed to finish this truck, to cut the nose off of it, because that's what I'm going to do with this thing, is just cut it up for art and parts. Like I say, honestly, I'll save this whole dash because it hasn't been butchered. Nobody's cut a big hole in the dash to put a radio or a CV, anything like that. Then we can cut the back of the cab off. It's a little bit rusty, but it'll work for a headboard or something like that. Yeah, we'll cut it right about here. All the rust is in that side of the fenders. Cut all this off, and man, that'll make a good looking wall hanger. Little bit of rust right here in the fenders, but that's not bad at all for what it'll be used for. Then we can sell those emblems there. The engine in this thing, it hasn't been used now for probably, I want to say probably 8 or 9 years, but that's not that long for an engine to sit. As long as it still turns, it'll still start. So hopefully it's a 350 and I can find a home for that. Honestly, what we'll probably do with this truck here is just go ahead, cut the nose off, and then just take the whole cab off of it. That way it's just easier to pull apart later. Pull the engine off and then pull the bed off of it, just because it won't fit in the crusher like this. The whole frame won't. So if we pull the bed off, and then we'll probably have to cut the frame off back here behind the springs, and then that'll fit in the crusher as well. But for now, when I get it out to the yard, I'll probably just stick it out back. I don't have time to be parting stuff out right now. After I get this job done, I've got another big farm cleanup here in about a month, so I need to keep hustling. Speaking of which, I just got a phone call a few minutes ago, and I may have another small cleanup. That may be what we're doing after this. So maybe that's what this video will be, is 2 small cleanups in one. Hoping there's keys in these vehicles so I can pull them out there. Hoping. And no. Bummer. Oh, it goes neutral. Okay, that's all that matters. I just need to get it neutral. So that's one. The Ford doesn't need to go neutral. I guess these are both Fords. This Ford does need to go neutral. Hopefully it just goes as well. The reason I don't want to carry them out is because I don't want to tear up their trees, and if I carry them out, I want to butcher that tree over there. So I'm hoping I can just hook onto them and pull them out. I'll pick up one end, do it that way. Hopefully this one here, no keys, and it does not go. However, I think, yeah, the steering wheel's locked and the front wheels are straight. So actually I can just pick up the back end of this one and pull it out just like it's sitting. So that works out great. Okay, yeah, we'll just do that. That way we don't tear anything up. Then once I get them out past that tree, then I can pick them up and carry them. Now. There we go. Got all 3 of them out. These trucks are a little bit of a challenge. Put my phone up there so I don't lose it. You can't just hook on the axle on these. The rollback's not long enough, and of course the hooks didn't come back here like I wanted them to. You gotta crawl. As you can see, you got a belly crawl up under here. On a day like today, it's not bad, but when it's wet outside or muddy, or you're in sand or stickers or something like that, it is not fun. And that's why I actually wanted to set all these vehicles out. There we are. It's up above me. Yeah, if you hook up here on the transmission mount, just like that, and then just like that, there we go. And that will give us, actually I'll probably go ahead and shorten these chains up just a little bit and then that way it'll fit on the rollback and I won't run out of cable. Got these little hooks right here you can take and hook into the chain like so, and it shortens it up quite a bit. Do the same thing on this side like so. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's not an exact science, but there we go. I wish I would have aired that tire up, but I left my air compressor at the yard, but that's okay, it'll drag up on there. Must be in gear. Didn't think to even check that on this one. There we go. That's better. Now it'll roll. Actually, I better go ahead and turn the steering wheel a little bit more. Oh man. Whew. That is hard to do on a flat tire. But that should be enough there to go ahead and get it loaded. It's just right down the road from my place, so really short drive. There we go. Now we're good. As long as it doesn't hop up on that railing. As you can see, it's a tight fit, but it's on, and that's all that matters. This would have been better on Skylar's trailer, but he just now called me and said he's just now done at the vet, so it would be like another 30 minutes before he got here. And by then, I'll already have this truck hauled and probably one of those others, so oh well. Go get me a chain on the back of it, get it tight, and we'll run it to the yard. And we are back in the loader. That truck there barely fit on there, and I measured that crew cab has a wheelbase that's 1.5 feet longer, so there is no way that it's going to fit on the rollback. So Skylar's here now. I'm just going to go ahead. It's only 9 minutes in the loader, so I'm going to drive it back down there. And there we go, loaded up. Of course, when I hit record as I was loading it, I didn't hit record all the way, evidently, because it didn't record nothing. But that was way easier than trying to drag this thing on, because the wheels are turned sideways and there's no keys. And so, man, that was just way easier doing this. We'll come back, we'll set that truck on them, Also, I would be right at the legal limit with this on the rollback. I'd be right at 14 feet, and there's a couple low-hanging lines between here and there, so I was really nervous about hauling this one on the rollback anyway. So that'll be way better just to haul it on this trailer here. So I'll hop in the truck with him, go over there. Luckily there's still another loader over there, so I can go get it out, lift this off, and then we'll run back over here and get the job done. There we go, just loaded up the last one. I'm gonna drive the loader back, unload it, and I think we're good with this cleanup. We'll pop that padlock off later in the video, so stay tuned for that. Right now, just need to get this done so I can get on to the next job, check it out. Well, neither one of us could find our bolt cutters, so we're gonna try the Sawzall method to get this padlock off of here real quick. They're not ready for me to go look at those other cars yet, so might as well do this. Pull against it. There you go.
I think it was easy.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a real good padlock.
No. Probably an old Walmart special.
Uh-oh.
Oh well. I drop it about 100 times a week.
Oh my word. They said it was almost empty.
They got you.
Well, they said they'll come clean it out, so. Whew. This thing is packed full.
Wow.
Oh boy, she's gonna love it when I send her a picture of this. This thing is chock full. Oh well, it's all right. They'll get it cleaned out. I have no clue if there's anything good in here or not, but it's not my stuff, so I'm not going to really dig through it. But I am looking at these boxes, and they all still appear to be in pretty good shape, so I don't think this roof leaks. So I'll go ahead and keep this truck and use it for storage for myself. The door opened easy, so I'll close it back up, leave it where they can get to it, and they'll come get it cleaned out, hopefully sooner rather than later. And I made it out here to see what all goes out of this place. There's a lot of vehicles here. Most of them don't go. The guy's not getting rid of much. Actually, a lot of these, technically these already actually belong to my dad. They're ones he put out here to store out here, but now the guy that owns the property wants them gone. I was walking back here to look at this truck, and I noticed these old wind, looks like small block Ford valve covers, is laying here in the junk. There's an old 4-barrel carburetor in there and all sorts of good stuff in the junk, but we're not worried about that today. Got this old GMC. We bought this at an auction years ago before I was doing YouTube. Got the V6 in it. There we go. This engine ran perfect when we got this thing. I started it at the auction, fired right up. Truck's not in too bad condition. As you can see, it's pretty solid still. Door opens easy. It's had a few rats in it now. It's been sitting for probably, I want to say 5 years. Little bit of rust above the windshield, but not terrible. It's all fixable still. Pretty nice dash and interior in this thing still. It would clean up pretty good. So I think somebody might buy at least the cab and front clip off of this, if not the whole thing. Like I say, it ran perfect when we got it. You still see it says Silas there on the tire from when we bought it at the auction. But we were out here looking around, and he wants this stuff out of here, but we can't get to any of it. So he's going to have to move a bunch of stuff. Like to get this out, he's got a dumpster sitting there with a 61 Chevy bubble top sitting on top of it, just the tub. But both of those are going to have to be moved. And then there's tons of firewood all through here that a guy's going to have to move before a guy can come in here and grab this and pull it out there. There's one really cool car over there. I'll show you in a little bit. But first, we're going to go back this way. There's a couple cars back here. Got this Thunderbird right here. Looks like a 80, 81, 82, somewhere in there. As you can see, it really doesn't look like that bad of a car, but it's had rats in it. So like I say, it's got a nice body, really nice body on it, but the interior and the engine are shot. Kind of unfortunate. Honestly, we'll probably just wind up crushing it. I don't know, we'll see when we get it out of here. Look at it a little bit closer, but like it, all these crates and these engines and pallets of heads are all in the way, and the only way in here is out through there, so this truck's in the way too. Bunches of engine parts out here, bunches of Mustangs, but none of the Mustangs go. Another one up there. But yeah, this truck's in the way. I think this truck is just junk. He's wanting to buy some stuff from us, so I think he's wanting to trade some of these vehicles. I think this is one here that he bought for the engine, pulled the engine out, and now the rest of it is just scrap. But there's this Cosmo, is ours. Rare little car, but just not really worth anything in this condition. So once again, we'll probably pull a few parts off and make a crushing video out of that. But once again, to get this thing out, all of this stuff has to be moved. And once all this stuff is moved, then a guy could probably push it back that way a little bit, hook a chain on the front, and pull it out this way. Guy'd have to use a skid steer. There's not really enough room to get a loader in here. Looks like a mid-50s Ford car up there. I've got a million of those. Bunches of junk all through here. Motorized bicycle. Looks like an old Fairlane. Is that what that is? Yeah, Sport Coupe Fairlane. Parts car once again. Junk. More junk. There's some more cars back in here. I'll go show you real quick. When I came back here and looked at these a minute ago, I was super excited when I saw this bell housing up here. I was getting ready to call the guy. I'm like, how much you want for that? But then I noticed it's got a hole right there. It could probably be fixed, but it's broken over there on that too, and kind of a shame. These are high dollar bell housings and they're hard to find. I sell those things like hotcakes whenever I do find them. I don't know what the deal on this is, but all these back here are ours. This old Valiant 2-door hardtop, nothing special, just one my dad put out here years and years and years ago. And then there's another one over here. I think this is a Dodge here, a Dart. This one's even a GT. As you can see, they have definitely seen better days. But these are back in the day when my dad crushed everything on the property. So he stored them out here so he wouldn't have to crush them. There's probably some pretty good parts on that GT still. And even the Valiant probably has a few things on it. Good wall art if nothing else. But there's no way of getting these things out of here. I mean, they've been here forever and they're probably going to be here for quite a while longer. All these barrels got to go. This thing's got to go. A couple trees got to go. All these crates and pallets got to go. So a lot of stuff would have to be moved to get those out of here. Looks like a Futura Sport Coupe back there. Some more Mustangs. None of that is ours, so we're not going to worry about that. I was hoping to be able to film cleaning this place up, but it's not going to happen. He's going to have to move a ton of stuff before we can even start. There's a couple junk vans over here. I think he's wanting to trade to us for some stuff. I think there's another truck, late model Ford truck back here he's wanting to trade, so nothing whoopee there. But there's this old C60. This is ours, but the guy that's helping drag some of the stuff out wants to buy the back half of it to make a dump trailer. So he's just going to take the whole truck to his house so he can do the work there. And then the rest of it, it's kind of a rust bucket. I mean, it's really a rust bucket, so just junk probably. Make sure it doesn't have a tack in it. No tack. So once he gets it cut in half, he'll bring the front half out to us and I'll cut it up for art. Next up, got this old bed. It's all aluminum, just a little bit of steel on it. If we send it in like this, they pay us bulk price for it, and it's not worth hardly anything. So if we rip it apart with the excavator, we can almost double the value of it for scrap. I was gonna grab this today, however, he's got a frame stored up on top of it, and I don't have the keys to his forklift. I don't have a way of getting it out of here right now anyway, so I guess I'm not gonna grab this today. Doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to grab anything today, so he's gonna have to do some work to clean this thing off so I can haul it out to the yard and then rip it apart. Should be some pretty good weight here though. Next up, there's what's left of this old Chevy truck here. He needed parts off of this years ago, so he brought it out here, pulled the parts off that he wanted, and said we could take the rest of it, and we just never got it out of here. So he's gonna have to move his skid steer to be able to get it out. So as soon as he does that, moves his stuff, we can grab it out. So once again, I think this is just gonna be scrap. Most of the stuff out here is, but this car over here will be one that we do not scrap. I'll at least cut it up for art, if anything else. But this old Firebird, definitely seen better days, not much left of it. Whew, look at all that pollen. I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but whew, it's messing with my sinuses. Yeah, old Firebird down here on the trees. I don't think it's anything special. Yeah, just a regular old Firebird. But there ought to be some good art there, if nothing else. So that'll be one there that we hang on to. But I can't get that out until that aluminum box is gone. So it looks like I'm gonna have to wait on him to come out here and get some of this stuff moved. Yeah, there ought to be some pretty good stuff on this car here to cut up. Somebody might buy the whole thing, make a dirt track car or something out of it. I don't know, we'll see. Here's the other side of this trailer, or I don't know if it was a trailer or if it was an actual truck bed. I think it was a trailer. What is this? Hackney and Sons. I'll have to save that off of it. It's got a steel beam all the way down the center, all the way through it for support. Yeah, I think once we get that out of here, that'll open it up to get that car out. If he moves the skid steer, we can get back there and get that truck. So we can probably get a few of these pieces out of here. But that stuff out back, man, a lot of stuff's gonna have to get moved. Then over here, we've got this old tractor. What the deal on this thing is we bought this during the state fair, and during the state fair, it's here in town, and this place will be crawling, and I mean crawling, with DOTs and highway patrols and you name it. And technically this is too big for our rollback, and so we bought this out of town a little bit, and so rather than drive into town down the highway, we just snuck it in here real quick and dumped it, and we were going to come back and get it later, and that just never happened. I can't get it right now because this dumpster's in the way, so I'll have to wait till that's moved, but then I'll go ahead and come grab it, take it in on the dirt roads, and go ahead and crush it. This was a good running tractor when we bought it, but it's been sitting right here for, I don't know, probably 5 years now, and the exhaust has been uncovered, so probably just junk. truck and dirt roads do not go together, but this is kind of an ugly load, and right now the highway is covered in highway patrols, so I really don't want to take this ugly load down the highway. The owner of the property out there went ahead and dug this truck out so I could grab it out of there. I was able to get those valve covers and that belt housing from him as well. He said he'll work on digging out 1 vehicle a day or sometimes 2 vehicles a day, but I won't be able to film the entire cleanup just because it's going to take probably a month before it's finally done. I'm headed out to the yard now. I think what I'm going to do to finish this video out is we're going to fire up the crusher and we're going to crush some cool stuff. There we go, got this car out. I also grabbed that Ranchero that was out there. I didn't film loading it. Got that Chevy truck, which you saw me crushing it. Then there was also that truck bed and frame. I got that out of there. And then the rest of the stuff we'll have to get another day. This old Firebird actually isn't in that bad a condition. I lifted it up in the air and looked underneath, and the floors are all still solid. This side's still solid, just that passenger quarter panel. No engine, no transmission. Instead of horsepower, it's got spider power. It's got a pair of bucket seats in it that my uncle wants, but I can't get the doors open, so I'm not sure how I'm going to get those out of there yet, but we'll figure that out later. I thought about taking it to the yard, making a crushing video, but once I saw just how solid it was, I thought, man, somebody really ought to save that car and do something with it. So I brought it here. Maybe I can get 800 bucks out of it or something like that. And then the last task for today is I've got to get my old Chevy work truck out. That's the last of the 3 vehicles that I had when I started filming on YouTube. I had my little Jeep, I had my old Dodge Cummins truck, and then I had the old 98 Chevy Silverado 1500. I sold the Jeep, then I sold the Dodge, and now I sold the Chevy. I put about 50,000 miles on this truck over the course of about 10 years, 11 years, something like that. It was a good truck. This thing was slick, and I mean slick, when we got it in 2011, but it's got rust in it now, a little bit of rust in the fenders. It's got dents all over it. The paint's all faded. It was definitely a work truck. I hauled, I don't know how much junk in this old truck. I don't know how many times I rounded this bed with stuff. I had this thing squatting down almost to the axle multiple times. Never could get the taillights to work right until I put LEDs in it, and then they finally somewhat worked right. Every now and then they still didn't work right, but oh well. I did have to replace the tailgate at one point in time. This truck saw many a camping trip. It saw many an old farm cleanup. It saw a lot of stuff through the years. I don't know how many times I had this thing rounded with catalytic converters, so this thing's probably hauled $500,000 worth of catalytic converters. The interior is still not bad in this thing. I mean, it's dirty, needs cleaned pretty bad. But other than that, it's really not bad inside. I think it's up to 160,000 miles on it now. The reason why I quit driving it is there was actually 2 reasons. The one reason is the security system in this thing is messed up, and so it would leave me stranded fairly often, and I have to reset the computer, which wasn't an issue at first, but then it got to the point to where I was having to reset it 5 or 6 times a day, and it was embarrassing to have to do that everywhere I went. And sometimes it would just shut off in the middle of the road, and so I'd have to roll to the side of the road and then do the whole 10-minute reset procedure, and I just got tired of doing it. The guy that's buying it says he knows how to bypass all that permanently. And then the next reason why I quit driving it, and really the main reason why I never bothered fixing it myself, is it's just kind of obsolete. It's too small. I can't really use a pickup like this anymore. Everything I haul now, I either need the rollback like that, or I need my truck to pull a heavy trailer, or my big heavy trailer, and just I can't use this truck. It can't pull any of my trailers other than my little tiny utility one. And yeah, I could haul stuff in the back of it, but you put too much stuff in here and it gets to squatting pretty bad. So I just kind of obsolete. I needed a 3/4 ton or bigger, and this old 1/2 ton just doesn't have a whole lot of purpose anymore. So it's been sitting for about 2 years, and so it's pointless to have an old truck sitting around like that. So I figured time for it to go to a new home. It does have the rally wheels on it that are worth probably 1/3 of what I sold it for. Or I guess these are called SS wheels. These aren't the rally wheels, but still, those are worth pretty good money. I thought about slapping a set of aluminum wheels on here before I sold it, but I never got around to it, and honestly, it's not that big a deal. I have probably 2 more sets of these, 3 more sets maybe, laying around. Believe it or not, I think this is only the 3rd set of tires I ever put on this truck. The first set I ran till they were bald. The second set I didn't run quite as long, and then I put these on there. These are just junkyard tires here, which they're starting to get dry rotted from sitting for 2 years. So it was probably due for another set anyway. Yeah, it's kind of sad to see it go. That's the last piece of original Adventures Made from Scratch history as far as the vehicles I drove when I first started my channel. But I've gone on to bigger and better things, and it's pointless to keep this stuff laying around. If I keep this truck around, it's going to get rats in it, and it's going to be ruined, and then it's just going to be a crusher. So I'm going to let it go, and hopefully they can get some more enjoyment out of it, and maybe it'll see many more miles. It's only 160,000. Really, this truck should be good for another 60, 70,000 miles, no problem. It ran and drove great. In other news, they came and cleaned this U-Haul out, so it is empty now. And then here's what's left of that Ranchero. I thought about just crushing this thing as well, but it does have a 351 Cleveland in it. And then also it's supposed to have some special transmission, some C4 in it or something like that, that is supposed to fit right in the old Broncos. I don't know anything about all that, so I just went ahead and saved it till I have time to check it out a little bit better. But that's the end of this video. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next week. Probably going to crush cars if I'm not busy hauling cars. If I'm crushing anything interesting, I'll be sure to let you know. This morning I actually ripped a whole bunch of engines out of cars. I didn't film any of that, but I ripped the engines out, so I have quite a few cars that are ready to crush. But I don't know for sure, so stay tuned. Who knows what we're gonna do. With that, I'm gonna head out and finish up here before it starts raining, because it's really starting to look like rain. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day, and remember to get out there, find an adventure. We'll see you on the next one. Somebody's trash can. That water's gone up a foot since I got here.